Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Coe Show. My name is Mason Coe. I'm here with my co-host Aaron Coe.
Hello.
And for our businesses that we want to shout out, just get it right out of the way so we don't forget. The first one that I wanted to shout out was Ryzan in
Kirkland.
Kirkland. Yeah, it is where I got all my baseball gear from when I was like 10 to pretty much when I stopped playing baseball. It's kind of tucked away. It's kind of hidden, a little hard to find, but they have pretty much, they have all the stuff that you would want. Way better than a place like Sports Authority or Big Five. They have actually good gear, quality stuff for good prices, and it's a small business, so I always want to support them. I have no clue if they're open right now, actually, so I don't know if it was wise of me to shout them out right now. But obviously, no one's playing baseball right now, so you don't need baseball gear. But in the future, just write that down. Ryzan, Risan, Ryzan.
And yeah, go there. Don't order it stuff online. You can go there and actually hold it and look at it and make sure things are right for you. They're great. I've had team gear come through them. Family owned business, really helpful, nice people. They stand behind their products. Yeah, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, they know what they're talking about. They're not just gonna put products out there that they don't know if they're quality or not. So,
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
And then the other one,
Oh yeah, we have Dick's, right?
yeah, Dick's.
Yeah,
Everyone
so
knows about it.
yeah, but they are a Seattle business. They've been around since the I believe the early '60s. If you went to UW, you probably went there many times. But yeah, I mean, why go to McDonald's,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
what when you can go to Dick's and get actually fresh. Everything there is super fresh. It's high quality for a low end cost,
And
right?
it's
So
cheaper than McDonald's, honestly, at this point. I
yeah,
would say.
yeah, for
So
sure. And it's just really good. They have really good stuff. They really take care of their employees. So they have college funds and for their younger employees, and
yeah,
they're just great, and their stuff is really good. They also, one of their Queen Anne location is shut down right now because they're making meals for first responders and other people that could use their services. But they're great. They're still open. You just go get in line, your socially distanced
yeah.
line. They have little lines marked off just like everywhere else, but
And they
they're
take
awesome.
yeah, they
Yeah.
take really good care of their employees too, so it's just good to support them. Just want to keep them running because everyone that works there, from what I've heard and seen, loves working there. So it's the overall atmosphere is much better than a lot of kind of cheap fast food places. So
And I hope, just kind of going on a tangent here, but I hope that we all learn something through this, and that is, you know, the big corporations are going to be just fine.
yeah,
They'll lay off who they need to lay off, and they'll
hmm
they'll they'll get by fine. They'll get through this. But there's going to be a lot of small businesses that really struggle. So, order from them now when you can, buy stuff from them now while you can, and then when things open up again, let's make a bigger effort, to
definitely.
go hit them up.
Yeah, yeah. There's no reason not to. I mean, not only are these small businesses that we're shouting out high quality and for the most part have just as good prices as the big corporations. Not only that, but they're good people
Yeah.
and they really care about their product. So yeah, all
All
right.
right.
Enough about business and
Right.
and COVID. So we'll just jump right into the news, I guess. Called it last week on the podcast, kinda a little. Gronk going to the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I jokingly said that Jay Glazer was gonna break that news when he was talking about his big news, and it happened an hour after we recorded the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I saw pretty much right after our podcast ended. Schefter tweeted something like they're working on a deal, and then like 20 minutes later, he's already on the Bucks, or he's pending a physical or whatever. So that kind of sucked, you know. It would have been fun to be able to kind of break that as it happened, but obviously we're late to the news here. But I mean that just turns Tampa Bay into even more of a weapon.
Yeah, and who knows where he's at? I know that he'd slowed down a little bit, but maybe a year of just letting everything rest up. But yeah, they have a lot of weapons there. Definitely a concern. especially for the Seahawks, who are going to have to
in the NFC.
compete with them in the playoffs if they want to get anywhere. So
yeah.
so it's a concern, and hopefully maybe Brady can't throw anymore. That would be nice.
So it's hard because they're getting Brady and Gronk, and I think what's being understated is how the entire building is going to change, how the whole mindset is going to change there, because Brady will. I know he's kind of using Bruce Arians' offense, a tweaked version of Bruce Arians' offense, but he will bring the mentality there. Like that's what he'll provide even more probably than his physical play. Everyone is going to be working harder for Tom. Pat McAfee says everywhere from the scouting, the chefs, the training people, everyone gets better when Tom Brady rolls into the building. So yeah, I think also. Yeah, I mean, it could be funny. I mean, I saw a tweet. It was like Gronk and Brady on the Buccaneers, and it was a picture of when Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett were on the Nets. Like it could end up like that, where they're just completely washed, and they go like 9-7 or something. I think though there was a stat that Brady had. I think it was the second most accurate on deep balls last year. So there are a lot of analysts that are saying, no, Brady can still throw. He just had 0 targets, and also the offense built around it wasn't made for kind of going on deep shots. Whereas Bruce Arians' offense, you're taking 5 steps and throwing the ball 60 yards down the field as you're getting hit. So,
and they certainly have the weapons on the outside.
Yeah,
really unlike Brady has probably ever had, even when he had Randy Moss.
Yeah, Mike Evans. I mean, he's not as good as Randy Moss, but he's up there.
And he's got more of them. So
yeah,
Randy Moss is better than any of these guys, but it was just Randy Moss.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a bunch of guys that are going to cause problems.
Apparently, they're not.
Especially if the Seahawks are in their base defense.
Oh my God! Yeah, Jesus. Did you hear? So Pete Carroll said that effectively Michael Kendricks was our nickel corner last year, and it worked. That's what he said. It worked.
Kind of worked.
Here's the thing, man. I hope he doesn't rely on it this year. I hope he realizes that we don't have Michael Kendricks is a freak athlete. Like we're not gonna have that this year. We don't still have him, right? Isn't he? Was he?
I'm not sure where he's at. I don't know because I don't think he signed with anyone. So I don't know if they're just
the way Pete said it. It seemed like he was moving on from him. And back to the Bucks real quick. Apparently they're not trading OJ Howard.
Okay.
So he hasn't been particularly incredible. That maybe he hasn't been quite as good as they'd hoped. But when you got Gronk in there too, and Cameron Brate, who's also another solid blocker and a decent end zone threat. And also, by the way, if you guys can hear a lawnmower, I'm sorry. There is a lawnmower going outside. Just deal with it. Nothing we can do right now. Okay. It says my disk space is almost full, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. But okay, moving on. Aaron Gordon dissed D Wade in a diss track called 9 out of 10. It's actually a decent song, but the funny part was D Wade hit him up and was like, good song, and then Aaron Gordon said, I like your wine. So it was like this weird, like I can't tell even if they're cool or not, but
right.
That I don't know, I just want to shout that out because it actually is. He's come out with a couple songs. It's actually not too bad.
It was better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's pretty clever.
Andy Dalton released by the Bengals, I believe this morning. I'm glad they got rid of him. They did him super dirty last year. They benched him on the trade deadline, which was also his birthday. They just benched him. So not only was he not playing football anymore, but he wouldn't be able to have the opportunity to play somewhere else. Now the question is, Patriots, like Steelers as a backup. I mean, right now it's him and Cam. Where are they going to end up?
Right. Yeah.
I've heard apparently Bill Belichick is out on Cam Newton. I've heard rumors. I
can't see that working.
Yeah, no, I couldn't either. I've seen rumors about Cam maybe backing up Big Ben for a year and seeing if he retires or what happens. I think whatever happens, it's going to be a 1-year deal for Cam because at this point, I don't think he has a starting job.
No, I can't see it.
I mean, I can't even think of a team like Jacksonville, maybe. but it seems like they're rolling with Gardner Minshew. Leonard Fournette pretty much came out and said, "I want Cam Newton," and he was on the trading block the next day.
Wow.
So I think they're really rolling with Gardner Minshew. I
Wow.
mean, listen, man, what like. What he sells
Hall of
jerseys.
Fame!
He sells jerseys. He's fun. I don't dislike Gardner Minshew, but he will never win a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback ever. Ever.
Freezing cold take.
Yeah, freezing cold. Take the shit out of that. Go ahead, man. He will never win a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback ever. It just won't happen. So it's like, why aren't you? I mean, I guess they're not trying to win a Super Bowl next year,
Right.
but what is his ceiling? Decent. His ceiling is being a solid guy.
Yeah. I agree. But is his ceiling lower than Cam Newton right now? I don't think so.
No, Cam Newton. To me, Cam Newton has potential to be probably not in his MVP form, but to me, Cam Newton has the potential to return to almost MVP form.
Oh boy, no,
He hasn't been
don't see
healthy.
it.
I think he's healthier than he's been in like 3-4 years. I honestly think he could be a top 10 quarterback still.
Yeah, you take away his running ability, and what does he
Who
got?
says his running ability's gone?
He's been hurt. He's gonna get hurt. Guys don't stop getting hurt.
I hate the argument he's
young.
gonna get hurt. It's like, okay, like maybe.
He's not young anymore.
Yeah, you're right. He's not young anymore, and I suppose he might want to take care of his body more. But we've seen in the past, you don't have to take huge shots to be a mobile quarterback. Russell Wilson hasn't taken a solid lick in 3 years. You know what I mean? So I don't know if Cam kind of has that mentality. I don't think Cam can really shut it off that much where he starts sliding and stuff. Although, I mean, I guess he didn't die for that fumble. So I don't know. It is like really hard for me. And also to me, he could suck. Like, that's the thing. I think his ceiling is still really high, though. Anyway, moving on. NCAA is now allowing endorsements, but from what it sounds like from Shams Charania, there's no limit on the money you can make, but there's a limit on the types of deals you can do. So you still can't get a shoe deal. Right. You still can't be in a State Farm commercial. It sounds like you can just sell your own name. Yeah. And it sounds like what I was hoping for was a potential new NCAA football video game. But apparently they still can't license, like they still can't sell their names for licensing for EA, which is just dumb to me. So this
it
comes
seems like
directly.
There's a way to do that where the schools make money, the video game company makes money, and the players make some money too.
That's how they do in the NFL.
It makes too much sense.
Madden, yeah, there's a reason Madden's still around. Everyone makes money off Madden.
Yeah.
I don't know what the issue really is with the NCAA because they stand to make money off of it. It seems like.
Yeah, they usually don't turn down money. That seems weird.
And I don't know. It's weird to me, but it's a really good sign they can start to make money off of their name. This comes directly after a kid decommitted from UCLA and goes to the NBA. Goes to the G League because there was another, I forget the name of the kid, but there's another one, like pretty much their top 5 for next year all decided to go to the G League.
Okay.
So when I said last week, hopefully this kicks them in the butt, this is exactly what it did. What is happening right now is exactly what I was hoping for on the last podcast. So I'm really, really happy about this. To me, a huge step in the right direction, and it's all because the NCAA felt a little bit of competition, just a little pressure. So, I mean, that just puts into perspective, I mean, I feel like a competition is good for everything, and that's why I feel like the XFL is a good thing too.
Right.
I think the NFL was on their way to improve some things, maybe some rule changes with the kickoff, but I don't know. Yeah.
I'd say, let them use their name. The reality is that probably only a handful of players, they all want that right, but most of them probably won't make any money off of themselves because, it's going to be the top couple players on a college team that are marketable, and the rest, are you paying for the backup, outside linebackers autograph? Probably not.
Yeah.
But there'll be a few guys. So I think a lot of it is just them feeling like they have the right to do it. So.
Yeah.
I think that's
And
big.
I know the NCAA, those video games, anyone that's played them knows that it's an absolute classic. So fun. I mean, the other night or not the other night, like a few months ago, I was playing with some buddies, and it was like so much nostalgia was coming back. You know,
Yeah.
Trent Richardson's on the cover of the game, and in an Alabama uniform, which is weird because
Wow.
they could have Trent Richardson on the cover of the game though. Like it
Yeah.
was like a photograph of Trent Richardson in an Alabama uniform on the front of the
Oh,
game.
wow.
So I don't know how they made that work. That's a little weird to me.
Who knows?
It seems a little fishy, but I guess there's a reason it had to shut down. Anyway, moving on, we kind of, I guess we didn't touch on this yet. Jameis to New Orleans for less money than, I mean, when I say less money, he was expecting 35 mil. He's getting 1.1 million dollars, which is absolutely tiny. Yeah,
I was really surprised. I thought he might be a guy that wouldn't even play this year because I thought he would see himself differently than the rest of the league saw
yeah,
him. But I think this is a good thing. It's a smart move on his part. I'm kind of surprised. I'm not obviously not a fan of Jameis Winston, but for him to basically say, okay, I want to go learn from a great coach and a great quarterback, and then who knows, maybe I could start there next year, or I
mm-hmm.
can get a bigger deal somewhere else next year. So for him to take that step back to hopefully take big steps forward later surprised me. I thought he would either go to a shitty franchise and it would be a disaster, or he would just sit out and expecting to make 30 mil or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
I
So
mean,
good move.
he's making less than AJ McCarron. He's making less than guys that are on their rookie deals.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is nuts.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that he did that. But I think it's a good move. It could parlay into something big for him in the future if he shows that he has some humility.
Yeah, he actually put on his Instagram story. I think it was Instagram story. Humility always comes before honor.
Yeah,
So I hope he's, I mean, it's a short amount of. I mean, he did not say it was not very long ago that he said, "Check my stats. I'm balling. I threw for 5,000 yards.
right.
I threw for 30 touchdowns." And he was expecting 30 M. So he's saying he's building this humility. I hope this process really helped him because I think I think he could be a really good quarterback because when you look at the top 3 seasons with most turnover worthy plays, which I don't know even what turnover worthy means, but the top 3 are Andrew Luck, Carson Palmer, and Jameis Winston, all in their first year with Bruce Arians. So obviously, I think Carson Palmer said he cut his interceptions in half his second year of Bruce Arians. Andrew Luck, he got better throughout his time with Bruce Arians. I think Jameis Winston, maybe you give him 2 more years in the system, he ends up becoming a very good quarterback. Obviously, you got to take Tom Brady, so it's kind of hard to blame. You can't blame the Bucks for sure,
No.
but I genuinely think Jameis has a chance to be a good quarterback. Maybe even stepping in for Drew Brees after he retires, and maybe he wins a Super Bowl. I mean, who knows?
This was the first step toward me thinking he might be good
Yeah,
and I think maybe he needed to be humbled like this. And
yeah.
hey, 1.1 million still buy you a lot of crab legs. You know what I'm saying?
I think also I heard on a sports show, I forget what it was. It might have been the Pat McAfee show. I've heard his teammates say he's a harder worker than they've ever seen anyone else
Hmm.
work. Like he has that mama mentality apparently where he's first in, last out every single time. No reps are wasted, which I didn't particularly expect from him, I guess.
No, it's not the image that I have of him in my head.
I think Bruce Arians even said that he works too hard for his own good sometimes.
Okay. Huh?
Which is, I mean, so that's a good sign. Obviously, he hasn't been the smartest guy on or off the field, so it's kind of hard to tell where kind of that'll go. But it seems like he's taken a step towards growing up a little.
Yeah.
NBA to open facilities in states easing restrictions. It was originally supposed to be is today. It was originally supposed to happen tomorrow, Friday the 1st, but it has now been delayed a week to May 8th. So the Hawks in Georgia, they eased the restrictions, and the Hawks said that they are not going to open their facilities anyway. So I don't
Hmm.
know how many teams are going to in the states that have eased restrictions. But I have a couple questions for you.
Hmm.
Obviously, the first worry is the safety of everyone.
Yeah.
That's obviously the first one. But man, if teams can get in and put up shots together, this isn't competitive balance, right? Because Giannis, I don't know what Wisconsin's restrictions are, but apparently Giannis hasn't had access to a court for a month. So, and he's a great player, so he might not be impacted as much. But if a team like the Hawks were to go in and be able to put up shots and maybe even run some plays, run their offense through a little, I mean, the other teams are in a that's a disadvantage, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like the Lakers aren't going to be able to do anything probably. I'm guessing California's restrictions are going to remain really tight.
I would think. Yeah.
So how is that? What do you think? Do you think that this is a competitive balance issue?
It is, but I guess I feel kind of like, we shouldn't shut things down that don't need to be shut down.
Yeah,
So, maybe by some of these teams getting out there, and if it works okay, then maybe it leads to more doors opening sooner. So I do agree it is an issue with competitive balance. How the hell does Giannis not have a court or a basket?
so I know
Hell, we
his
have a hoop
when
out
he
front,
was
like
when he was on his rookie contract, I know he sent pretty much all of his money to his family.
Okay,
He was like biking to the facility, and
right.
so obviously he has made way more money by now. I don't know if he's had time or even thought about putting a hoop in his house, because when you hear stories about Kobe in the gym at 3 a.m. and he hasn't slept since they had practice at 12 p.m. the day before, and he's still in there at 3 a.m. Those are people, those are like janitors in the facility telling that story.
Right.
So I think a lot of players really rely on the facility because they live close anyway. I think if you have the money, it would just be convenient to build a court. But when these guys are in the off season, a lot of the time they're probably traveling, and when they're in the season, they're either going to the facility to walk through with the team or they're traveling to games.
Can you go on Amazon and buy like a buy like a hoop that
Yeah, you probably
with a
could.
base that you dump the water into and put it at the end of your driveway,
Yeah, you could.
like every 9-year-old kid in Silver Firs here?
You could, and I don't know. I don't know if Giannis has changed that situation yet.
Right.
I haven't gotten an update on that, but I knew when it happened originally, Giannis had no access to any hoops. There are definitely ways you can do it. A lot of those people have enough money to kind of make things happen, and their agents can know people, and you know what I mean. So I wouldn't be surprised if by now he has access to a hoop, but it seems like also it seems like this might have a competitive balance issue, and it might put people at risk, and it also seems like that it's pointless because there's going to be apparently a 25-day startup period anyway where teams get to, I think the first 2 weeks are about just getting in shape and training, and then the later 11 days are walkthroughs and getting the offense going. And I don't know exactly what it was, but so do you even need to open the facilities to players if there's going to be this 25-day period anyway?
Well, I think number one is it safe,
Yeah.
and it's hard to answer because I don't think people are really know for sure. So what you just have to rely on what the experts and the doctors think on that. But I'm in favor of if they say it's safe to open it, and I'm not talking about like the experts on my Facebook
Yeah.
feed that goddamn government's trying to keep us down and all that, so all that sort of stuff. But what are the best educated opinions out there,
Yeah.
and keeping the politics out of it? What does the medical community think is safe? If the medical community thinks it's safe, then let's do it. Let's open up whatever is deemed safe right now. So
Yeah. I think also an issue is, and I'm just going to preface this by saying I don't know any, I have not been in the news enough to really know what is going on day by day with this and how things are progressing. But it seems like there may be some governors that just get it wrong and open things up too early. I know Florida already opened up their beaches again when they just had the most cases in a day. The next day they opened their beaches. So it seems like there maybe are people making some wrong decisions.
Of course.
So should it be the NBA's responsibility to say, hey, I know your state's easing these restrictions, but we want to get moving as fast as possible. So even though the facilities technically could be open, let's just keep it shut down. I just feel like it's safer, and if you just keep everything shut down, I agree with you that we should open things that can be opened. But it seems like when you're going to have this startup period anyway, and in order for the NBA to start again, every single player, staffer, everyone needs to be tested and clear of it.
Right.
So why are we even taking risks just so guys can put up 100 shots in the gym and I mean get probably not much. It's not like they're getting better, but then it's also an issue of competitive balance. It just seems like a bad idea to have some teams allowed to do it and others not. I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert. I don't know what's going on in other states, especially other states. I mean, I don't even really know what's going on in our state anymore, but so yeah, I don't want to touch on that too hard, but
yeah.
Okay. The big thing that happened since we last podcasted was the draft.
An actual sports thing happened.
Wow. Well, don't say that. You might get grilled on Twitter because Adam Schefter tweeted our first live sporting event and he had forgot that the WNBA draft was like a few nights or like the week before. He had
and hundreds of people watched that.
Yeah. Was there a broadcast of it? I don't know.
I don't think so, but I don't know. Maybe there was. I don't know. I mean, ESPN had nothing else going on.
Man, I'll say, okay, I know obviously there are reasons why the people don't watch the WNBA, but they do a terrible job of marketing it too. I don't know that the WNBA finals are happening until someone won. I don't. Right. I honestly don't. And that's like that's probably my issue. That's probably because I don't seek it out. But when you're a huge sporting, it's the same thing with the NHL. Hockey is awesome. Why don't I ever hear about what's going on? They do an awful job of marketing it, I feel like. Anyway, so that was funny though that Adam Schefter got grilled on Twitter for that. But the draft, I guess before we jump into our opinions of some of the picks, what did you think about the format?
So it depends on what we're talking about with the format. So I really liked, I like the cameras in the players' houses and with their families. I like that way better than they're sitting in the green room or in a suit and giving the commissioner a fake hug. And
right.
I like that. I thought that was just a lot more intimate and just sort of a deeper look at it. And
definitely,
I thought that was great. The thing that I hate, and we ran it about this, but you're watching it on ESPN and you see the pick is in and they're talking about something else, or they're having Luke Bryan play some shitty song.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Luke, hold on, time out, bro. Hold on, great, awesome song. Shut the fuck up for a second, because the pick is in. Okay, here's the pick. Tell us who the pick is.
Yeah, cut away. Just cut to Roger Goodell when it happens.
Yeah,
instantly. Just
Roger Goodell stumbles through it. Mason Coe, let him stumble through it. Let him get booed. And then analyze the pick. Okay, we are done with the analysis. Luke, take it away. Play your stupid song. We got a couple of minutes to kill here. I hate it when the pick is in and you can't look at Twitter because Twitter's already saying who it is. I like to actually see it happen.
Yeah.
I'm kind of old school that way. So I just think if they fix that, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but Like, when the pick is in, let's hear the pick. Let's hear the goddamn pick. What are we waiting for?
And the crazy thing was, in the later rounds, it got worse.
Yeah.
In the later
Oh my
rounds,
gosh.
there would be like they would be behind on multiple picks.
Yeah.
There would be like 3 picks in, and you got Luke Bryan singing. By the way, why? Okay, man, it's not like the audio quality isn't even good because it's on a Zoom call. So it's like, why do we think music is a good idea right now? Also, he was singing on day 3. Yeah. We're in like the 5th round. The people that are watching the 5th round of the draft are only watching because they're football junkies.
Right.
They like care about who's going where. No one that's watching the 5th round of the draft wants to see some random singer sing a song that was popular in fucking 2014 or whatever. Which, by the way, man, come on, get a new hit. Make a new hit, please.
Make a song about the draft. Yeah. What else are you doing, Luke?
Do some creative. Yeah, at least make it creative. It's like they're having him sing this old hit, this outdated hit, over a Zoom call, so the audio's not even good. It's just pointless. And I don't know how it got worse in the later rounds, but it did. And also, stop talking about every single kid that has had some traumatic thing in their life happen. They made it such a point. It's like you could tell that they're just old whites up there, just like, wow, this kid had his dad die too. Wow. And then they went into like details. There's like, this kid's dad got struck by lightning. This kid's dad slipped on gravel and got ran over by a semi-truck. I don't need to know that. What I do need to know is where this next guy is going, because the pick is in already. Move on. Stop telling me about a kid's dead dad. Tell me who the Atlanta Falcons are picking next. Like, well,
really,
please.
The graphics that they put up really crack me up. Like, I don't mind hearing, like, you're doing you slip it in about, the person's character or adversity that they went through. I don't mind that, but I love it. And then they like, Mom was on crack.
Yeah,
What the fuck are you doing?
There was one where they put like his 40 time and his bench, and then in between was like a sexual assault charge. It's like they're listing it like it's their stats. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
Oh man, yeah.
Like, obviously you want to shed light on some things, but I mean, you could see the memes on Twitter. Everyone was... I thought I was crazy. I thought I was the only one that was a little disturbed by how much they were focusing on it.
And I like human interest stuff, but maybe let's go with the top layer of human interest stories.
It was beyond trying to... Because I had a friend, shout out Willem, probably not listening to this, but he made the argument that they want to show kids that are in these bad situations that they can do it too. Yes, like, that's good, but it was so clearly not because they were trying to inspire kids in tough situations. It was because people like staring at the car crash as they drive by it. It's the same feeling where you want to know the little, like, you want to know the messed up things about people's lives. That's just the human interest part.
And we don't need to do that with every player. I felt like if I had been in the draft, it would have been like, had to ask 3 girls to prom before he got a yes or so. You know what I mean? Like, they would have had to dig, like, what are we gonna find on this suburban kid? Like, I just felt like they had to try too hard. Like, just there's some great stories, but we don't need the big sob story with every pick and having to just dig for anything. I wonder how they ask these guys, like, hey man, did something shitty ever happen to you? Like, what's crazy. The worst thing that ever happened to you? Come on, you got something worse than that, don't you? Come on.
There was a dude that his job for just 2 months was just to find the shitty things that happened to players. Yeah, for me it would be like lacks confidence at parties or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, okay, so I guess we'll talk about the Seahawks picks now. I guess this is probably something we should have discussed before, but I could cut in our reaction video.
Oh yeah.
So maybe there's a video that I filmed shortly after the Seahawks made their first round pick of us in disbelief, not even remembering the dude's name. I don't know. I might cut that in right now. We'll decide later. But I might post it on Twitter too. I'm not really sure yet. But anyway, Jordan Brooks. What do we think?
Yeah, so gosh, here's the thing about the Seahawks. First of all, no one's ever going to be able to name who they're going to pick.
Yeah,
Like you're
no,
never going to win money on placing that bet.
no.
It's a loser's bet every time. It's funny. One thing I've noticed about the draft, like if I post a couple things on Facebook and people were kind of pissed at me because I was negative about the pick. And, I think here's the thing. Hey, I want every pick to be the greatest pick ever.
We don't want the pick to be bad.
I hope, what's his name? Jordan Brooks.
Jordan Brooks, yeah.
I hope Jordan Brooks goes to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And it can be a freezing cold take that I was concerned about. That's great. I'm cool. I'll take that on. But my concern is, are you getting value from the pick? What's kind of the consensus of the experts out there? And the thing is, nobody knows. Nobody know. I mean, look at every draft. You can go through any draft over the last however long there's been a draft, and you go through it, and even in the first round, 2/3 of the players weren't what people thought they were going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have guys in the 7th round or undrafted free agents going to the Hall of Fame. So nobody knows what the hell they're doing with the draft. It's an educated crapshoot, I guess. So with the Seahawks making that pick, first of all, I'm hearing, well, he was probably, a 2nd or 3rd round prospect. That's a concern. What the Seahawks have done in the 1st round or with their first pick over the last several years is a concern because they have really struggled there.
Yeah.
Really struggled there. Yeah. Basically going back to the Earl Thomas pick.
If you look at their players who have been good that they've drafted, almost all of them have been 3rd or later, pretty much.
5th round.
Yeah.
We've got our Hall of Fame players in the 5th round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am concerned. I think they try to get too cute. It sounds like they had a deal on the table with Green Bay to move down that fell through. And then I'm looking at it going, where's this guy going to play? Because you know what? I don't want Bobby Wagner's fucking replacement.
Yeah.
He's still a really good player. I don't want to think about 3 years from now. I want to win the Super Bowl this year if there is a football season.
Yeah.
I want somebody who can help us win now, now.
Yeah.
Not a replacement for a guy who's still a Pro Bowl level player.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that sentiment where it's like I also don't want him taking snaps from Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
He might take some snaps from Bobby Wagner throughout this year, and I don't want that happening. What I will say, though, is I think it'll be very good for Jordan Brooks' development to have Bobby still be, maybe, I guess, I don't know if you want to say in his prime or not. He took a little step back last year. I would still say he's in his prime relatively.
Yeah.
It'll be really, really good for Jordan Brooks to learn from a prime Bobby, but Patrick Queen was the next pick, and people were really high on him. He was a linebacker. Apparently, there were teams that told the Seahawks that they were super high on Jordan Brooks, and they would have taken him in the next round. I think we were the only one that actually had him as first-round talent, maybe. There were almost no mock drafts that had him going even before the 3rd round. So it was a very interesting pick. I think he's going to end up being solid, but my concern is when the first line of the guys, when the only stuff about the pros of a player is that he's a good run stopper and a good tackler. Who cares? It's like for that linebacker position, I want a guy that can cover too.
It's like be versatile these days for sure.
If he's just a run stopper and a good tackler, he'll be able to play 2 downs per series. He's not going to be able to play on 3rd down. So, I don't know. It's an interesting pick. I think he could end up being a pro. I think he could end up being maybe a Pro Bowl level player. But I don't. I think there are just better players we could have got. I think when you look at the people picked after him, you could get T. Higgins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a bunch of guys. There's the corner out of Minnesota, whose dad once signed with the Seahawks. I'm blanking on his name.
Oh yeah. Winfield.
Yeah.
He wasn't picked until 45, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. So here's the thing about Pete. I think especially Pete and John, I think they're on the same page with this, but especially Pete. He looks at someone and says he has this raw talent. He doesn't do it all the time. My job is to get him to here.
Yeah.
So if you see a Richard Sherman and you're in the 5th round and you see, okay, he's got the length, he's got this and he's got that, and I think if he could do that on every play, he's going to be a serious player.
Yeah.
That's an awesome pick in the 5th round. But in the 1st round, I don't want to draft just on, I mean, potential is obviously a big part of it, but I don't want to just draft on what a guy might become. I want, what is he now? What can he do for us now? So when they draft, who's the really shitty quad rider that they drafted a couple of years ago?
Who really shitty? Who?
The guy that wrecked his quad.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Broke his head open.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
I can't remember his name, but like why are you drafting a guy, a knucklehead who's been a knucklehead in college?
Yeah.
Because you see some talent that he has, and when he decides to play, a half of every 3 games, that's what you want to try to get every game. So no. Give me a guy who can help us win now in those early picks. You don't take chances there. You get guys who can help you win.
Malik McDowell.
Malik McDowell.
Yeah.
So don't fuck around with those picks. Get it right.
Here's the thing. It's like, yeah. I mean, potential. I think potential is a decent thing to draft for, maybe.
Sure.
But not when you're in this position of, we're 1 game away from going to the NFC Championship game, We're in a position where if we can get a guy that'll impact play right now, that is, I am willing to sell out a little bit on potential to get a guy that can help us right now.
Yeah.
Because chances are, I mean, when Pete and Russ are gone, we're probably going to be screwed for a while. So it's like, is Jordan Brooks just going to be this all-pro player when we have no quarterback or coach? You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think I don't like the pick. I like Jordan Brooks though as a player. Obviously, no hate to him as a person. There are some people on Twitter that are like tagging him and saying like, fuck you, and it's
oh my God.
It's like, that is just insane to do. You're a Seahawks fan, you should be supporting him no matter what. Even if you don't like the pick, shit on Pete, tag Pete Carroll and John Schneider and say fuck you to them. Don't say fuck you to Jordan Brooks. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
That's not a majority. That was just a few people I saw on Twitter. And then Darrell Taylor, I think it's Darrell, probably, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
He looks like a beast to me, honestly.
I've grown to like him more.
Mm-hmm.
Based on just doing a little bit more research, but how much of a pass rusher will he be remains to be seen, but he seems like somebody who could contribute. He seems better than I'm bad with names today, but the guy we drafted first last year
LJ Collier,
that played a couple more plays than I did for the Seahawks.
LJ Collier. Yeah. The only highlight he was on was a Lamar Jackson highlight where he got his ankles broken. So I mean, that'll tell you what you need to know. Yeah. He was healthy and active as a rookie, a 1st round pick. That is unheard of. Like, that doesn't happen. No. To have a healthy and active 1st round pick as a rookie, that is nuts. Yeah. He sucks. He has to suck ass. Really bad.
And I hope that it was a red shirt year and he'll come around, but he's already, going to be 25 years old, so I don't know how much of a factor that is. But yeah, I do like the 2nd round pick. I was concerned initially because, again, maybe he wasn't quite rated that high, but yeah, that one seems to be a pretty good pick, so I'm hoping that one comes through.
Yeah, and also there's a video that I saw on Twitter that I tweeted about, or I quote tweeted it, and it's pretty funny. He's a dog. He's fiery.
I like that.
Before the game, someone asked him what they're gonna do, and I believe they were playing a rival that day. He goes, "We gonna whoop they fucking ass." So I'm in on him.
Yep. I like that.
And then I believe our next pick wasn't until the 4th round when we selected Colby Parkinson. I believe we did not have a pick before that, right?
We had Damian Lewis, guard out of LSU.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I forgot about him. I I don't I don't know a lot about, especially moving from these prospects moving later into the draft. I don't know a lot about him. I've heard only good things about this guy. All of LSU's linemen got drafted this year, which is nuts. But so he was a part of a really good line. The only knock they had on him was he had a bad game against he had a bad game against Derek Brown, who's the 7th pick out of Auburn. Guess what? He's an NFL player, and you're only going to be facing NFL players from here on out. So it's like, you can't just be like, oh, well, he just had a bad game against Derek Brown. He's an NFL player.
Because that's who he's going to be facing.
That's who he's going to be facing. Yeah,
he's going to be facing a Derek Brown every game.
Yeah.
But that being said, LSU, I forget what the award is called, but there's an award given out for basically the best unit in college football, and LSU's offensive line won that. So I like that. I mean, he won a national championship. He was a part of that. And they're drafting. Listen to this. They drafted a guard, and he's going to play guard. Yeah. They're not going to move him here or move him there or let's try this.
His intended position.
Yeah. They drafted a guard to play guard. So I like that.
Don't speak too soon. He'll be a center this year.
Oh my God.
Watch it happen.
We cut our center. Probably. Yeah, he may be but that's okay. I mean, interior lineman, that's fine. So no, I solid pick. I like that. He seems like a dog too.
What pick was that? I cannot find this. Oh, here it is. 69.
69.
So fucking dumb. Okay.
You're so fucking dumb.
Oh, all right. And then the next pick was Colby Parkinson out of Stanford. You really liked this pick. There were question marks over my head when it happened because we have Will Dissly and Greg Olson, but upon discussing it with you, I think I like it too.
Well, there's one thing I know about Colby Parkinson that nobody can take away from him. Mm-hmm. He is 6'7" and a fucking half.
Yeah. Yep.
He will never. He's not going to lose that.
Yeah. Yep. So at the very least, toss it up to him. I believe he had no drops last year, which is huge. I think he might be. Can he block? I don't know.
He's not considered a great blocker, so he's going to be more. I hate to bring up this name, but he's probably more of a Jimmy Graham type, but maybe with a little bit more edge to him than that. But he's a big target, big red zone target. Great hands, like you said. Played for a program that puts tight ends in the NFL every year in Stanford.
University at this point.
Yeah, so I did like that pick, and I know that they have a couple guys already, but I don't know that Dissly is going to be back right away, and they probably, even if he is back, they're probably going to want to ease him in a bit. Dissly is also, I love Will Dissly, but he's not a one-on-one matchup winner. Okay, he's a smart, fake the block, slip into the vacated zone type guy. And he's got good soft hands, and he's got a lot of great things to him, but he's more of a blocker, more of a zone type coverage tight end, where Parkinson is, he's gonna, you put him against a 6'1" linebacker or a safety, he's gonna have an advantage there.
Yeah.
Because he's got arm length and he's got the height already. So I really did like that pick an awful lot. I think he's going to contribute this year.
Both of these guys, both Dissly and Parkinson, I feel like I like 2 tight end sets. Okay, especially I feel like if we can have Dissly, Parkinson, or Dissly and Greg Olson, and then you got like Tyler Lockett and DK, and a running back out there, I think that. I think you could do some really cool things with a set like that. Also, even though he's old, both of those guys get a year to learn from Greg Olson, one of the best tight ends, at least one of the longest tenured tight ends of all time.
Yeah.
So, they'll be able to learn a lot from him, which is good. I think Greg Olson only signed a 1 year, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I'm guessing he won't be back after this year, but who knows? Next one up, DJ Dallas. part of me wants to just shrug and say, oh, it's a running back, whatever. But this guy was a wide receiver originally in college, so he can catch. And apparently he's a stud run blocker, or pass blocker, I mean.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
And he can return. He's a return guy. He's been a return guy.
So it sounds like we didn't just pick some running back. It sounds like there was actual, I guess, thought behind which running back we took and when, which was good. And one thing I want to throw out there too is every pick that the Seahawks made, Pete and John Schneider were really happy about. They weren't pumped about the LJ Collier pick. You could tell they were kind of on the back foot with that one. They didn't know the way you described it was in fantasy football when you have 3 guys you want and there's 3 picks before you and all 3 of those guys get taken.
Right,
so
you're like, they're not all gonna go.
Yeah, you use the entire 2-minute clock and your friends are texting you like, make your pick, dude. But but I think that was the kind of LJ Collier was that kind of vibe of a pick. At least it seemed like from Pete and John, where they're like, shit, okay, LJ Collier, I guess. But it seems like everyone they picked in this draft, they actually seemed happy about. They really wanted him.
Yeah.
So even if you don't agree with, especially the first 2, at the very least, it's the guys that Pete and John wanted, and I'm willing to trust them.
And even though I didn't like the Jordan Brooks pick, here's the thing: if that's who they thought the best player was on their board, it's hard for me to argue that. My problem is I haven't liked, their first picks haven't panned out very well. But here's the thing: if that's our GM and that's our coach, we have to trust in them. And they have, last time I checked, there's one coach and one GM that's won a Super Bowl in this town.
Mm-hmm.
And that's those 2 guys. So I do trust them to a certain extent. Do I have concerns? Yeah, but if they got their guy, if that's their guy, then so what if a lot of people thought he was a 3rd round pick? If they think he's the best, then that's who you got to take.
One development I'm gonna be really eyeing closely is Patrick Queen versus Jordan Brooks, just because Patrick Queen got taken the pick after and people were way more high on him than Jordan Brooks. Also, just to throw this out there, it's okay to be critical of things that you like. It's okay to question if you like someone. It's okay to question them. In fact, I would say it's healthy. So don't take this as we absolutely love Pete and John, and I'm actually way harder on Pete than you are even, but but it's okay to be critical of things and people that you like.
Pete Carroll could go 0-16 for the next 2 years and I still love him.
Mm-hmm.
There's really nothing he could do. He goes in the Ring of Honor no matter what.
Oh yeah,
it's sort
no
of
doubt.
Molesting someone. he goes into the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, he would have to catch a serious case or move the team or something.
Yeah,
like, those would be the 2 things he couldn't do. Jesus.
Yeah, drive drunk as long as you don't kill someone, fine. I'm okay. Drive off the 520 bridge and swim to shore, fine. No, he's got my lifelong support right now. That doesn't mean it doesn't drive me crazy sometimes when they make a questionable pick.
That's
waste a goddamn timeout.
That's love. That's what love is.
Yeah,
Yeah. They drive you crazy, but you still support them and love them throughout.
Yeah,
that's what love
exactly.
is.
Yes. And we do love our Seahawks.
Yes. Okay, and then after that, I mean, I don't want to say who cares. We got Alton Robinson, another DN from Syracuse, who apparently was a much higher rated prospect in terms of his just football, but he had some off the field issues where he in high school he stole his ex-girlfriend's purse twice or something.
And I think he pushed her down.
Like he pushed her into some bushes
and
or
took
something.
her phone, but then he gave it back. So obviously stupid. Hopefully he's grown from that. But I've heard that he may have been a 2nd or 3rd round talent. So
yeah,
that could end up being a nice pick.
And I know I've said this to you multiple times. If there's any place that will take, I guess someone that may have had a little bit more trouble in the past with their actions, it's the Seahawks.
Right.
The people everyone that comes to the Seahawks loves the culture and loves the Pacific Northwest. I know Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon has never really had trouble with his character, but obviously he's had trouble with drugs. He's apparently staying in the Pacific Northwest, just living here for the rest of his life, even if he doesn't play for the Seahawks. DJ Fluker, who I guess we should have talked about that too. DJ Fluker and Justin Britt got released, but DJ Fluker is he put out a Twitter video saying how much he loves Pete and John in the 12s, and he's moving his family here and living in the Pacific Northwest for the rest of his life. Right. So people love it here. People love the culture here, not just the culture in the locker room, but the culture around the PNW. So I think a guy like that would be able to thrive here very easily, where in a locker room that lets you accentuate your personality, where you don't have to take anything out outside the football field. Every day is a competition. You're grinding every day, allowed to be yourself. And I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I thought that was good. Next guy, Freddie Swan, wide receiver out of Florida. Who the hell knows? I don't know anything about the guy. Sounds like I think he's going to be the punt returner.
Okay.
What I'm hearing.
I like that.
Because they want to take that off of Tyler Lockett's plate.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to...
I think it's Swain.
Swain. So I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Lynn Swan. No. Yeah, Freddie Swain. So I don't know a ton about him. He's, kind of a speedy little guy, so he could maybe help you, in the slot a little bit. But mainly it sounds like he's going to be a return guy. They expect him to come in and do that right away.
Mm-hmm. So the last guy was kind of an interesting pick because on ESPN he's listed as a tight end, but I believe on LSU's website he was listed as a wide receiver. Stephen Sullivan, like the fifth to last pick. Huh? Oh, Stephen. My bad. Stephen Sullivan. He was the fifth to last pick of the draft. All right, so the last 20-ish minutes of our conversation, the audio just stopped. The audio recording just stopped, so we're just going to fill out the rest. We were just starting to talk about the Seahawks' 7th round pick. What's his name again? LSU tight end Stephen Sullivan. Stephen Sullivan, yes. So I didn't actually know a ton about him, and I still like the pick, just because he's big body, he's fast, just someone you could throw it up to in the end zone. But you actually did some research on him.
Well, I'm a huge fan. Heard him on the radio. I'd heard a little bit about his backstory before, but Softy interviewed him on KJR. And just a really engaging individual. And, that's not, great. There are a lot of engaging individuals that can't play football. But like you said, he does have the body and the athleticism. It looks like he could make a difference, just still very raw. But... really a fascinating human being, and we talked earlier about the sob stories and enough already. But this one was pretty interesting. I mean, he grew up in a horrible situation. Like saw his dad, beating on his mom and fighting with his brothers and snorting blow right there in the trailer. Ended up living with a teammate later in high school, and they were poor too, but they took him in. But this guy didn't have his own bed until he went to LSU, and he actually went there a little bit early because he wanted to take some of the burden off of the family that took him in. But through it all, he just always kind of said, I'm not going to be like these people. I got to find a way to be above this. So he's a guy I'm rooting for. Give me his jersey right now. I would love to see him make it. I think he's going to end up playing wide receiver. It sounds like he could play some tight end, or maybe they could get him there, but he basically didn't really play tight end. He was on the outside for the most part, or pretty much all the time. So he's a project. He's a guy that they drafted not for this year, but just as somebody that they're hoping could develop into something special down the road. So I'll be pulling for him. Sounds like a neat guy, and who can play football, hopefully.
Yeah, and then the other thing we talked about was the Jordan Love pick from the Packers. I guess, kind of to a shortened version of what we said earlier. It's the one position that you could pick that would piss off Aaron Rodgers, as well as you're not helping the team get from the NFC Championship game to the Super Bowl. You know, like they already made it to the NFC Championship game last year. They had a really good season. So why not maybe get a weapon or someone to help stop the run, which the 49ers absolutely destroyed them on. Draft a position that can help them win this year.
So you're Aaron Rodgers, and we heard him on Pat McAfee, really just minutes before that pick was made.
Yeah.
And he was really interesting on that podcast, and obviously was hopeful, and like we all are, that your team's going to draft somebody that can help them win. And so imagine he's sitting there watching this draft, and you're like, who are they going to get? Are they going to get me there's a couple receivers we got T. Higgins and a couple other receivers sitting there. Who are they going to get to help me out? You got Laviska Shenault from Colorado. You got all these guys. Gosh, who are we going to get to help me out? This is going to be great. And he's sitting there.
And they're trading up.
And they trade up. Okay, so they gave away a 4th round pick, potentially another player that could help them win now. So they give that up, and then they draft a quarterback, which means 2 things. One, like you said, that's not helping them now because they ain't winning the Super Bowl with this new quarterback as a rookie. So and then you take away a potential weapon that you could have gotten for Aaron Rodgers, or the defense, help them get the offense back on the field faster. So basically, it was really a triple hit to Aaron Rodgers. You got your team saying, "Hey, we're thinking about after the afterlife." So that had to be tough, and I'd be mad as a fan. When you go to the NFC Championship, you expect to win the Super Bowl next year. Any fan of a team, if you get that far, you're like, hey, we were that close. We just need a couple more pieces and we're there. So I would be livid if those have got to be the most upset and confused fans right now.
Yeah. And, not only are you not getting better, but I would argue you're actually getting worse just as far as a team morale standpoint.
Right.
It'll be, I guess, Rodgers has never had to deal with anything like this, but it doesn't seem like he's the type to really handle this well. And instead of it kind of lighting a fire under him, I feel like he might not buy in as much. I feel like he's not going to want to work with LaFleur and Goody, their general manager. So I think they made themselves worse in the draft. And then they go ahead and draft, I think, what's his name, A.J. Dillon out of Boston College. Running back who isn't as good as Aaron Jones and also can't catch. So he'll be a 3rd-string running back, and they picked him in the 2nd round. I just no idea what they're doing. Because that's not even like having an eye on the next regime, really. That's just like drafting a position you absolutely don't need. And he wasn't the best on the board either. He wasn't even the best running back on the board.
I love the pick.
Yeah.
Love it. Best pick. I love their 1st-round pick. Because they were bad. So, whatever makes the Packers worse, I'm all for. But I don't know what they're doing. With Aaron Rodgers, you got to wonder, what's his buy-in level now? Has it gone down? He's kind of a little bitch, so
he comes off like one at least.
So he seems like somebody that would be upset by this. Like you said, I don't think he's gonna sit there and I'm gonna show this rookie and. He doesn't seem like that type. He seems more like the type that's going to be like, maybe you should just trade me.
Yeah.
Or, there's probably 25 teams that would like to have him start for them right now. It's got to be a shock to his system, and that's got to rub off on the locker room, no question.
Yeah, and people compare this to Brett Favre for obvious reasons, but it's worse because Brett Favre was talking about retirement already. Aaron Rodgers was the number 1 quarterback on the board that year, even though Alex Smith got drafted ahead of him. Aaron Rodgers was ranked higher. The Packers did not trade up as it wasn't the general manager. It was some sort of like player operations, or I don't know. But the person who really had the sway to pick Aaron Rodgers with the 22nd pick said he fell into our laps. We didn't go get him. Jordan Love, at best, was the fourth best quarterback in this draft. Some would argue the sixth best quarterback in this draft. And the Packers decided to trade up for him, lose another potential weapon or someone to help stop the run or, anything. They
A punter.
a punter, yeah, a kicker.
Anybody.
I mean, really anyone. So they give up something that can help the team to get someone that won't be able to help the team until their rookie contract is up.
Yeah.
Unless they trade or cut Aaron Rodgers, which at this point it seems like they're going to have to do because I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is even going to want to win. Like, I mean, that's not a good way to put it. He'll want to win, but he won't buy in to the organization maybe. He said it's important for his legacy and for himself to finish out his career in Green Bay, but I just don't know if I can see that happening.
It's hard to imagine, when you feel unwanted, why you're gonna return that type of attitude, whether it's perceived or real.
He's an emotional guy, so I could see this changing a lot of things for him. I mean, no one thought Brett Favre would play for the Vikings. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, was there anything else that I guess we missed from our last conversation?
Oh, every word was gold.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You guys missed so much. It's funny because no one's gonna even listen this far, so no one's gonna even know that our audio cut out and that we had to re-record this.
Right.
Because no one will be listening by now. So,
we should just put in secret codes and other sorts of gibberish just to see if anybody.
How about this? If you made it this far, text one of us, Gulf of Mexico. Just text, tweet. You can call us and just say Gulf of Mexico and hang up. Yeah, if you made it this far, just do it. Anyway, thanks for listening because our video cut out, so no one's watching actually. Everyone's listening. Hope you guys have a good day. Stay away from everyone. Wear a mask. Follow the rules. And yeah, see ya.
Bye-bye.